Product Prep, along with Gerry Gould and Associates, presents Getting to the Yes. Let's refresh, renew, and recharge your closing techniques. All right, this is good for sales consultants and sales managers as well as financial services managers. A lot of emphasis placed on the financial services managers. So stop with the verbal vomit. What do I mean by that? I talk about it all the time. You'll never learn anything by talking. You'll only learn by asking questions. What is verbal vomit? That's when you try to explain every product, every customer, every single time in a detailed manner, in a detailed fashion. It doesn't allow the customer to talk. What you're doing is you're throwing up all over them. You want to stop throwing up all over them. So here's the checklist to get to the yes. You need to recognize your customer's value drivers. What are value drivers? Those are the things that are important to the customer, not what's important to you, but what's important to them. Recognize your customer's value drivers. A value driver is what's important to them. As a sales consultant, what's their motivation behind buying a new car? What is important to them in their next car? What do they like about their old car? What do they like? What do they don't like about their old car? What would they like to see different in the new car? So on and so forth. What are they trying to accomplish today? Those are some of the questions that we had recommended that sales consultant ask in order to get the customer's value drivers. Regarding, and I think sales managers should reinforce the customer's value drivers when they go in and TO a deal as well, and you obviously get that information from the sales consultant. When we refer to financial services department, it's not so much the value drivers, it's not a needs assessment you're doing with the customer, it's more of their driving criteria. So you got to identify their driving criteria, their ownership habits. We often talk about how long you plan on keeping the car, how many miles a year do you drive, how often do you like to service it? What's your insurance deductible? Those are the questions that are going to give you an idea of how the customer, their criteria to the next car. You could even ask, what do you like most about the car you're purchasing? What do you think of all the technology? What do you like least about the car you traded in? Those are some of the things you can ask a customer as a financial services manager to kind of get inside their head and determine what their driving and ownership habits and traits are. And then you want to present based on their criteria as a sales consultant and as a financial services manager. For example, as a sales consultant, if you have a customer who does a lot of city driving, they explain to you this during your needs assessment, they don't put a lot of miles on their vehicle, it's an older couple, you're not going to spend a lot of time on adaptive cruise control, but what you will spend a lot of time on is maybe the rear view camera, side view mirror camera, so on and so forth. Comfort, convenience, reliability, economy, especially with city driving when you're doing your walk around. With regard to financial services products, once you identify your customers' driving and ownership habits, you want to present based on their criteria. The miles, you want to set all the products based on the miles that they're going to drive, or the anticipated miles or ownership that they're going to have, with the exception of a Kia or a Hyundai where they have a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. You may want to wrap the warranty, obviously, but in other manufacturers, I think you have to align the driving habits with the particular service contract that you're going to sell. When you go to leases, remember, you want to minimize the terms on these products to mimic the lease term. Okay. Another question regarding a lease customer is, what do you plan on doing with the vehicle after the lease is up? Do you plan on keeping it, maybe selling it, maybe giving it to a relative? If you ask these questions, that will give you an idea of how to communicate to them to close them more. And this is getting to the yes checklist. Now, you want to present solutions, as I mentioned, that best fit your customer's particular situation. And again, the only way to determine your customer's situation is to ask questions. You got to get your customer involved in the conversation. This is something that me and Amanda just spoke about. You need to ask a lot of questions. Get rid of that verbal vomit that I mentioned. If you're the type of person that just gonna, that A-type personality, you want to get your point across, you have no bullets left once you get your point across, and then you ask the customer to make a decision, and they lose interest in the conversation because there's nothing more to talk about. So asking questions like, how many miles a year do you plan on driving? What type of driving do you usually do? And then kind of edge them on by probing. Is it city driving? Is it highway driving? Off-road, obviously, you're not going to sell a service contract. Again, just get the conversation going. Use transition statements, and I'm going to share with you a number of transition statements. I think the main focus of this webinar is on transition statements, because what you want to do is you want to pique your customer's interest. We've often talked about the 5 mindsets that you as a financial services manager should go into each presentation with. And that first mindset is, remember, the customers are apprehensive, they're resistant, and you have to lower their resistance. And the second one, which is one of the most important ones, is they don't feel a need for the product. So they do want the product if they're explained properly in a telling manner. So, pique their interest. You definitely want to, you know, present the want rather than the need, because customers have a tendency of feeling no need for these products, especially with financial services. So use visual illustrations, articles, and videos to get your point across. I'm going to share with you my latest take on a couple illustrations that I came up with over the last several months. I want to give you some ideas on how to enhance your presentation when presenting F&I products, or even walk-arounds with a customer. So with that said, great mental pictures by telling real event stories. If you've been in the business for any length of time, you can tell real event stories. I have Amanda watching the webinar with me in the office, and we did speak of a real event story. She has a service contract on her Subaru. I asked her, why do you have a service contract on your Subaru? She said, because I plan on keeping it a long time. I think that's something you need to express to a customer. I see the value in a Subaru, even though I don't put a lot of miles on the vehicle, but I'm going to keep it a long time because parts have a tendency of wearing out. I mean, these are some of the things that you should bring to the table when trying to close. And again, I'm going to say it again. The verbal vomit has to go away. We have to eliminate that. And one of the biggest mistakes that most sales consultants make, as well as financial services managers and many sales managers, is they simply don't ask for the business. I mean, what do you think isn't asking for the business? My dad taught me, do you want the car? Yeah, then sign here. Which product makes the most sense to you? Well, the service contract. Great. All I'm going to need is your signature right here. You want to sell more products prior to you giving a presentation. You simply look at the customer before you print any paperwork, and you look at them and say, look, you're financing this car for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Did you want coverages for the half the time you're financing the vehicle or the whole time you're financing the vehicle? That's a loaded question. Not a customer in the country is going to say no, only half the time. They're going to say the whole time, and then say, great, now I can show you how you can do that. Let me review the options with you. So Damien, what do you think so far?
I think this is a great point. We've done a lot of webinars on asking the right questions, listening to the customer, addressing their needs, and it's kind of building up to this. So I'm excited. I think it's great.
Okay. The message has always been the same. I've talked about repetitiveness many times. It's the mother of learning. I'm going to send the message, keep sending it until you all get it. And you know, I see regulars coming on this webinar, and I know that your production is increasing. We've got a lot of letters and stuff. So let's just keep it going. Now, here's the deal. Verbal vomit. You'll never learn anything by talking. Gather potential information about your customer, all right? Why? Because you're going to get their value drivers. You're going to learn how to sell them. You're going to get their driving habits, and you're going to get their buying motives. That's what you need to gather. Instead of the verbal vomit, learn to ask the customer questions pertaining to their value drivers as a sales consultant, pertaining to their driving habits as a financial services manager, and both financial service managers and sales consultants, as well as sales managers, try to determine the customer's buying motives by asking specific questions that we've addressed in the past. So that was a great segue into this. Remember the DIMTY. And what is the DIMTY? Can anybody tell me what the DIMTY is?
Do I matter to you? Come on.
Come on, baby. Well, do you?
Of course.
Huh? Do I matter to you, punk? No, just feel like Clint Eastwood. You know, that guy's 90 years old. Ridiculous. All right, do I matter to you? Nice guess. Hey, that worked. All right, here, influential statements. Let's talk about influential transition statements. You ready? I'll be happy to assist you instead of can I help you? Hey, man, I'll be happy to assist you. Welcome to my dealership. I'll be happy to assist you, okay? You're going to get a response that's going to be more positive than can I help you? No, I'm just looking. Hey, do you mind if I ask you a question, Damien? Seriously, I'm a little curious.
Sure.
How come every time we have these webinars, you're not fully shaved? Any particular reason?
Hey, all the time I am. One time, Jerry. Jesus.
All right, relax, all right? But I got you the answer, didn't I?
Yes, yeah, you did.
What is it you're trying to accomplish today, Damien? What you set out this morning? You woke up. What is it you're trying to accomplish today?
Well, obviously not shaving.
Okay. Well, no, that's just a byproduct of you getting up late, working out. All right. There you go. Okay. So based on the information you share with me, Damien, obviously you didn't have time to shave this morning. You got a lot on your mind, right?
Yeah, I do.
You got a lot going on today, don't you?
I got hit with a volleyball last night and broke my glass. I can't see anything. I can't even see you right now, Gerry.
So I would imagine that one of your objectives today is get a pair of glasses, right? Get that squared away.
Primary objective.
Because that's really important, right?
Very, very important. And maybe coverage.
Hey, I learned a lot about you today, Damien, didn't I? Just by asking questions. That's ridiculous. Okay. Sure. Now you mentioned to me earlier that you got hit by a volleyball, right?
Yeah.
And you lost your glasses?
Yeah, well, I actually got impaled by a volleyball and my glasses like chopped me up here. It was pretty vicious, actually.
Was it really? Are you going to be all right to go to are you going to a doctor, or are you just going to go to the eyeglass place?
I'm not sure yet. I don't know. We're going to see.
All right, so you're going to see how the day goes, huh?
Yeah.
All right, that sounds good. All right, well, anyways, because you mentioned me earlier, you're going to need a pair of glasses. Why don't you give me a call, because I know this wonderful person that can help you out with that.
That sounds cool.
All right. So if we were fortunate enough to find a pair of glasses that fits, are you in a position to proceed?
100%.
All right, let's rock and roll. All right. You know what, Damien? There may be another way of looking at it. Mind if I share something with you?
Sure.
Because you're in need of glasses so badly because you don't have an extra pair. By the way, I have 2 other pairs because I travel a lot. I think you should go to LensCraft. There's glasses in an hour. Plus, for $75, you can get an eye exam. Everything's done.
That sounds good.
All right. See you there. Okay.
Okay, good.
Now, let me ask you a question. There's one thing preventing you from moving forward. What would that one thing be today, getting a pair of glasses?
Price. Always about price.
Oh, man. Do you mind if I share something with you with regard to price?
Sure.
All right. LensCraft has a 0% payment plan, so you can run it over a 12-month period, not pay any interest, reduce the cost of the glasses a little bit.
Well, my friend Steve just recently got a pair of glasses and spent $800 on them. So, I don't know.
Is that the same Steve that spent $7,000 on a bicycle?
$3,000 on a bicycle.
Oh, I thought it was 7. John lied a little bit. John told me it was $7 grand.
Well, no, it was $3 grand for the bike, $2 grand for the upgraded tires.
Yeah.
Oh, $5 grand for a bike. That's beautiful. Steve, put on your camera. I got to see these glasses. $800. Were they sunglasses?
They were sunglasses, and yes, they're amazing. And I've lost them 3 times and replaced them 3 times.
Oh my God! So what's your understanding of the warranty on your sunglasses?
I will purchase them every time.
What's your understanding of the cost to replace a tire and wheel? What's your understanding of your insurance company's responsibility should the vehicle become a total loss? What's your understanding of the cost to replace those keys? These are some of the questions that you can ask your customer to set you up for a really strong rebuttal. So I know I kind of screwed around with this stuff. I'll be happy to assist you. Do you mind if I ask you a question? What is it you're trying to accomplish today? Based on the information you share with me, I would highly recommend this. So based on the information you share with me, I'm surprised you didn't take advantage of this. Based on the information you share with me, let me show you how this adaptive cruise control works, because I know you'll be spending a lot of time in the car. You mentioned to me earlier that you're going to be keeping this car, the wheels fall off. I have a service contract because I'm going to keep my car, the wheels fall off, and I only put 3,000 miles a year in the vehicle, but I know parts do wear out. Okay, if we were fortunate enough to find a vehicle that fits, you're in a position to proceed. Instead of you focus on the machine rather than the money. If we could agree on price, you're ready to do business. All right. Listen, I've been reading articles, automotive news. 70% of car buyers are paying over sticker today. That's ridiculous, okay? It's going to change, though, once the inventory gets back to normal. So there may be another way of looking at it. Do you mind if I share something with you? And then you go into your rebuttals. And if there was one thing preventing you from moving forward, what would that one thing be? Look, I feel very strongly that you should reconsider your decision not to enroll in a vehicle service contract, because you're buying a used car with 55,000 miles on it and only has a 30-day warranty. If there was one thing preventing you from enrolling in that service contract, what would that one thing be? The price? Okay, so I wouldn't expect you to buy it if you didn't see the value. Maybe another way of looking at it. Do you mind if I share something with you? And then we're going to maximize the benefit and minimize the price by using those illustrations I talked about in logical, intelligent dialogue with the customer, all right? So what's your understanding of the warranty you have now on the vehicle? What's your understanding of the high cost to replace those low profile tires and wheels? Get your customer talking. That's how you eliminate and alleviate the verbal vomit. So what is it about this particular product or service that concerns you? What is it about me sharing these options with you that concerns you? Tell me, had you had a bad experience in the past? So again, you want to elaborate, refresh and recharge, okay? Get the customer to rethink, change their way of thinking, put them in a different perspective by asking these questions, okay? When it's all about the money, we shared this close with you a number of times. When it's all about the money, break out the calculator or break out the calculator on the cell phone. Look, the fact is, we budget monthly, we spend daily. You've got to convince it. It's not $1 a day. It's not $2 a day. It's not $3 a day. It's only a few bucks a day. Look, break out the calculator, illustrations of what's going to work. Break out that cell phone. Get the customer involved in the conversation. Illustrate it. Make the Sharpie your friend. Write it down. Let's assume for the moment the customer's current payment is, let's say, they're comfortable with 383. You say your comfortable payment is 383. The increase in payment, okay, the payment increase, regardless of whether it's on the showroom floor because you're trying to bump them in a payment, or it's in the F&I office because you're trying to sell them product, is the payment increase, right? Stay right at it. The payment increase is $48 on the products that you prefer. The payment increase is $48 on the car you prefer. That means, okay, 383 divided by 30, and you calculate it with the calculator, you're comfortable with $13 a day. Then you look at the customer and you take the $48 divided by the same 30. Is $1.60 a day going to change your lifestyle in a way, shape, or manner? How many times I've asked the question, Amanda, how much on an average day do you ever spend? $10, $10 a day. So that we could consider disposable income. It's income we run around with, whether it's in an ATM card or in your pocket. $1.63 a day isn't going to change. $1.60 a day isn't going to change your lifestyle in a way, shape, or manner, is it? Well, of course not. But driving the wrong car would, wouldn't it? Yeah. Not having the service contract and having a major repair would, wouldn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Not having the tire and wheel and having to replace your tires and wheels would, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would. So now do you see the value in the program? Doesn't it make sense to enroll? That's how it works, all right? Budget versus daily spend, okay? That's where the money's at, man. That's the strongest close to date that I have. I truly believe that. Strongest close I have. Damien, any comments?
Yeah, just to go back to what you said before, when you ask a customer, what is your understanding of, right? Whether it's in sales or finance, what is your understanding of this feature? What is your understanding of this product? Do you have to assume that their understanding is very low? And if so,
Not necessarily. Not necessarily, Damien. It's just you need to get their understanding. Let me tell you how that came up. I said, what's your perception of a vehicle service contract one day? And the customer said, my perception is that it covers everything. And then they looked at me, this is in the training section, and said, Gerry, perception is 9/10 reality. You should better off to say what's your understanding of, and then you can correct them if they're wrong. And I said, you know something? It was Joe, I forget, Joe Russell, I think is his last name, was an agent in one of my trainings. This is like 10 years ago. I said, man, that's a good point. So rather than say that moment forward, rather than say, what's your perception of the vehicle service contract or anything, I'd say, what's your understanding, so that I could correct the customer, which worked out well. That answer your question, David?
It does, but at least in my experience, I feel like most finance managers and sometimes sales managers really should look in the mirror and ask that question to themselves. What is their understanding of the vehicle service contract, its features, benefits, and values? What is their understanding of the
deal? Now that you brought it up, I often ask that question of financial services manager. What's your understanding of the vehicle service contract? And here's what I expect them to say. It pays for mechanical and electrical breakdowns for a period of time and miles, period. The details, the integral parts, yes, they should know those when the customer starts to ask questions, okay? But what's your understanding of the factory warranty? It covers you for 3 years of 36,000 miles. And then you have powertrain coverage for 5 years of 60,000 miles. That's my understanding of the warranty, period.
Right,
What's your understanding?
but there's other benefits including that warranty. And when you're talking about the payment close, when it's just $1.60 a day and you spend monthly budget daily, then does it make sense to go into the added values that they're going to have with that purchase? So with $1.60 a day, you're going to have the
Only,
service contract that provides rental cars, that provides towing, roadside assistance, right?
yeah, only if the customer says no after the first shot. That's the verbal vomit I'm talking about. Timing is everything. If you say to the customer it's only $1.60 a day, is $1.60 a day going to change your lifestyle in way, shape, or manner? The customer says no, not at all. Then what do you think? Yeah, okay, I'll take it. But if the customer says, well, you know, it's still $1.60, then you go into the additional benefits. But you'll also get this, this, and this. See, that verbal vomit is oversell, overkill. Now you're making it sound too good.
Hmm.
You follow what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay, so you have to be coy. And what I mean by coy is you have to get the customer's reaction and then determine if you, in fact, you have to go farther. I've seen way too many financial servicemen, including myself at times, when I'm in the heat of the moment, go too far. You just got to slow it down. I've often said 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippis, and then go at it. Okay, that applies to me as well. I do it all the time. So provide proof. Look, we talked about evidence manuals before. I know many folks have evidence manuals. They don't use them as often they could. Even if you just have one article, one repair order. You know, I had a man this morning go ask the service manager what the average cost to repair a Hyundai is. Then I went online and found out that it's $456 on average per year to repair new Hyundais. And there's a 10% chance once that vehicle's in the shop, which will happen 0.3 times a year, that they could be a severe impact. In fact, Hyundai's repair average cost is greater than the average cost of other vehicles. I found that out just by Googling it. What's the average cost to repair a Hyundai? So, you know, we're providing you with a lot of this stuff, but sometimes it may take you to step outside your boundaries and do a little bit of research as well. So, you know, the brochures are a good thing to use when solidifying your point. The repair orders definitely will solidify the point. There's many articles out there, and then there's the claims that you can get from your agent partners, and then there's the evidence, the wear cards from your manufacturer, components, so on and so forth. So I want to share with you. I went the extra mile as well. Here's an example of the article that we recently posted that I've been sharing with all the financial services manager. This is a fact sheet on Tire and Wheel. It cost $15 billion over the last 3 years. This article was printed in 2021. The average cost per year is $3.5 billion to repair tires due to road hazard. In the Northeast is the worst part of the country. I mean, you show this article to customers now, they're liable to take a Tire and Wheel program, and then you can even, you know, make it a bundle product. So these are things, again, that you don't share with your customer until they say no. This is what leads to the yes. So provide tangible items. Bubble wrap. I'm going to share with you what I mean on the bubble wrap. A stapler close, cell phone close, a magnet to hold things that come out of tires, the golf ball to show porous paint, painted surfaces. You know, the key tag with a key that you can get out of parts with a price tag on it, showing the customer the cost to replace these programmable keys. You know, a water bottle that you can get at like Walmart or Target, an aluminum water bottle, put a few dents or dings in it, put it on your desk. That provides a tangible. So you could use these, and I'm going to share with you how I would use them. I share with you how I'd use the calculator and the calculator close. You simply hold up a stapler and the cell phone, and you say, which one would break first? I can't seem to find a stapler here, but, oh, here it is. So you just hold these up and say, which is liable to break first, the staple or the cell phone? Most customers are going to say the staple. Exactly. This has been mastered. This is what drives the car. A magnet, if you were to just go out to your tire machine and pick up things around the tire machine in your service department, attach them to a magnet, it's a conversation piece on your desk. The bubble wrap, I'm going to show you in just a moment. In fact, let me show you now, okay? So here's the deal on the bubble wrap. So I went out and I made this little car. See it right here? It's got wheels. All right.
You
Nice
made
little
that
car.
yourself?
No, I'm going to share with you how I got this done. And Boy Scouts, you know, nice little car. So I put my cell phone on it. What drives the car, you know? You need this to make the car work now. Without this, this is what you got for the 10 years, 100,000 miles, nothing but wood. This is what you need to cover the whole car for the whole time you're driving it. Oh, by the way, you know, you want protection for that whole car all the time you're driving it, just wrap it in bubble wrap, you know? You want your car wrapped in bubble wrap. That's fabric and paint treatment. Okay? See that? See how crazy I am? But these are the things that work. Get creative. Now I want to share with you. This is the big surprise, Damien. You ready?
Yes.
Okay, here it is. Hold on. Can you see me?
Yes.
Lowe's. Look at Lowe's
Oh,
getting stuff,
hey.
right?
Yeah.
So you can build your own.
I like
All
that.
right? Right there, $10. Best $10 I invested this year. You're gonna sell me a lot of service contracts. You can build your own little car. Woo! All right?
I like that. That's a good
So I'm
idea.
handing it out to all my financial services managers today. They're gonna
Steve,
build
write
their
that
own
down.
projects.
Steve,
Okay?
write that down for Christmas. Come on.
I'm in.
There you go. That's beautiful. Send it to the financial services. Now they got to build them themselves. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So here's an example of every manufacturer has a wear card. That's the nice thing about it. Don't tell me you don't have one. Even Honda, who gives $500, even Acura, who gives $1,000, they all have wear cards. Turn that intangible into a tangible by handing the wear card over to the customer and saying, this is what the manufacturer will tolerate. Anything beyond this, you're going to have to repair it or they'll charge you for it. Period. End of story. Okay. There's get creative. Here's my little car. Again, these illustrations are available to everybody in the Product Pro family. We have over 7,000 participants now, Damien. I think we're up to like 7,000.
Yeah.
All right. We got 7,000 people that should be utilizing this stuff. You take the average car. This is your car. This is what you're going to drive over the next 5 years and 80,000 miles. The whole car is covered with the exception of sheet metal and glass. At some point, you're going to lose everything else, and only the powertrain is the only thing that's going to be covered on this vehicle, okay? And that's the powertrain. So everything else is gone. That's why it's like driving a cell phone. You want to protect that vehicle, all right? And that's the illustration that you can share with your customer. That's reality. That's just an illustration that truly brings the customer to life, okay? It brings them the date. So with that said, get creative. These are the past presentations we did. I think you should look them up. My favorite vehicle service contract gaining commitment method, one of them actually, I have more since this one, is to illustrate it. The 3 types of warranties you have in the vehicle. You have the adjustment period, which is the 12-month, 12,000, in some cases only 770, 77. Then you have the basic, which is bumper to bumper, and then you have the powertrain. Why does the manufacturer limit their liability? The word tracks are all there. There's holes in your warranty, fill those holes. That illustration is one of our webinars. Then there's a frequency of repair webinar where it shows, 3 years of 36, and the customer's going to drive it a certain number of years. Your factory warranty is going to expire. You're only going to be left with a 5-year 60 powertrain. Why does the manufacturer limit the liability? Because of frequency of repairs. It has vehicle products are components that don't have maintenance or aren't being maintained or aren't surrounded by oil have a tendency of breaking down over time. And that's why the manufacturer limits the liability on those certain components for a certain period of time. Then there's the gap close, show how gap works. There's a gap, while you're owning the car, you're going to pay the vehicle down in a straight line. That gap will be filled by the Guaranteed Asset Protection Company. And then there's the 99.9% reliability rebuttal, where there's 5,000 components. That means there's 4,900 components that will be fail-safe, leaving 5 components that could fail. Let's say half of those components fail, you still stand a chance of the vehicle spending $1,600 in repairs. And then there's the tools of the trade we share with you with regard to full coverage versus powertrain coverage, the many electronic components, low profile versus standard wheels, and then cutaways showing where the components are being manufactured and the different electrical components or technical components in vehicles. So, a final thought. You're going to get people to trust you if you have more conversations with them rather than trying to convince them to buy. Get them involved in the conversation. That's how you build trust. That's how you build the pillars of trust. Show the customer the DIMTY by asking the questions and then referring back to their answers when trying to close them or when showing them the vehicle. That's how you gain trust, and trust equals sales. No trust, no sale, period. Questions? Anybody?
Yeah, I do. I have two questions, both on pitches. First being, what are your thoughts on the fixed versus variable pitch? I know you went through some of those that you just illustrated, but fixed payment versus variable payment, fixed payment being all coverage protected, variable payment being your base payment without any protection items.
Okay, I'm on a budget. I understand you can't. I understand you don't want to spend the extra money. No, you don't understand. I am on a budget. I can't afford the other products. Well, therefore, I have to tell you, I'd be really, it, I'm really concerned about having you leave here on a variable payment rather than a fixed payment. What do you mean? Well, right now, if you leave here without any of these options, you have a variable payment. What's that mean? That means that if something should go wrong with the vehicle, you have to pay for it. That's what I call a variable payment. Today you pay $350, tomorrow, next month you pay $350, 3 months down the road you pay $350, but that month you have a tire damage. You have to replace the tire and rim. That's $800. That month's $1,150. That's called a variable payment. You get your payment to $400, you don't have to worry about that. So I am a fan of the variable versus fixed payment. That's a rebuttal, not when the customer comes into you, not in the beginning stages of your presentation. That's a rebuttal. What was the other question, Damien?
The other question is, and you and I spoke about this before, at the end of the pitch, and you can't do the calculator close, that doesn't work. None of your rebuttals work. What do you think about a coupon close?
Okay, that's come up quite often. It's a last resort. Sometimes it works. It's certainly going to work if the customer says, "Can you do any better on the price?" No, I can't. The price is the price. All right. But still try to rebuttal them without throwing the coupon in there. Or you could say something like, you show a lot of interest. I'm going to do you a favor, okay? Because you're adamant about me reducing the price. I can't reduce the price, but I usually save coupons for really nice people. You happen to be a jagoff, but I'll give you the coupon anyways.
I mean, I guess you could use that for like a membership close too, right? If you AAA.
Okay. I have a certain number of memberships that I can. I have a certain number of coupons. I think a coupon close is a corny close, but I think it's an effective close depending on your audience. I'll be honest with you. I used to when I was a financial services manager, late 80s, early 90s. We had a club membership. My dealer, Ira Rosenberg, printed up plastic cards, VIP membership. It meant nothing, but we used to say to the customer, "I'll tell you what, I'll make you a VIP if you select the program." What do you mean? You get one of these cards every time you come in for service, hands to them, they're going to give you VIP treatment. It didn't mean nothing. It's just sold product. We get really gimmicky and kind of snaky in this business. I like to keep it transparent up front. If a customer is really sincere about purchasing the program, tell you what, are you a member of Costco? Yeah. All right. I'm going to give you a special discount because you're a member of Costco. Are you a member of the military? Yeah, I'm a member of the military. Sorry, I didn't mention it earlier. Because you're a member of the military, you're going to get certain discounts on certain products. You do that first in your presentation. That's being upfront and transparent. So I guess you got to go with the flow. That's why an introduction is so important. Kind of sense what type of customer you have. Again, Damien, I understand. I'm sitting here with a financial services manager in Washington, Pennsylvania, which is quite different than New York City and New Jersey. Quite different.
Yeah, no, I understand. I guess what I'm trying to get at is during the course of a pitch, do you ever recommend discounting the products to close the deal or reducing the payment that the menu is provided?
I always want to go an extra term. No, reduce the deductible. That's my first shot. I'm told, in order to answer your question without being flim-flam and wishy-washy, no, I hate discounts. Coupons are a different story. Membership at a AAA member, especially after I show a AAA article. Oh, by the way, you're a AAA member? Great. I'll apply a $100 discount to it. That will reduce the payment by $2. You in? That's it. $2. That's it. It's not a lot of money. Come on, sign up. I'm okay with that stuff.
Okay.
That answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
I ain't discounting anything. Oh, what if you give? Can you make a discount? No, I can't discount. I'll tell you what I can do. Show me your military ID, and I'll make a copy. No, I can't make a copy of it, and I'll make note, and that will be my excuse to my general manager why I gave you a discount. But if you don't have a military ID, I'm going to get lambasted by my insurance company and my I'm not doing it.
What about markups? static markups on all products?
Static markups on all products. Totally agree with that. Fair to everybody.
Yeah,
That's
I
the way
think
it's
what we're
got to
seeing-
go.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think what we're seeing
From a client
now.
standpoint, I mean, you
Go
talk
ahead.
to Shannon Roberts, all for that. I mean,
Yes.
definitely. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. Standardized pricing, for sure. I'm used to that. In Florida, we're a regulated state. We send everything to the state house and they give us an okay, and that's what we got to sell it for. Definitely regulated pricing. Anybody outside of Damien have a question? Now go get your glasses.
I'm gonna try.
I love it, Jerry. Good stuff. Thank you.
Got to be creative, baby. Think outside the box. Stay relevant.
Awesome. Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks,
We'll see
Jerry.
you next
Thanks,
couple of-
Jerry.
All right, guys, go sell some stuff.
All right, Jerry.
Great
Have a
stuff, Jerry. Thank you.
All right. Don't forget, you get all the stuff on product prep. Talk to you guys soon.